Greg Schiano is basically the guy who has brought winning seasons to Rutgers, but it has not really happened during his second stint with the Scarlet Knights. I mean, there were a couple of 7-6 seasons before this past year. They went 5-7, but Schiano's 99 and 108 at Rutgers. He's now entering his seventh year of his second stint with the Scarlet Knights. And you got to wonder, when this program is going to kind of take the next step into the middle of the Big Ten, if possible, right? And listen, it's very hard to win there, and it's even harder to win in the expanded Big Ten. They've done some things that I think are going to be interesting this year for this Rutgers team, but it's still an uphill climb. That's what we're going to talk about today here on the You Think You Know Sports podcast. I don't know how you found us, but I'm glad you did. This is still a brand new podcast. We're a couple weeks into this thing, making our way through all of college football. We've done the American, we've done the ACC. We are down to our last 5 teams in the Big Ten as we continue to do our social media stuff on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and all of that, where you can find us under You Think You Know Sports with videos. We do a podcast on the team, and then we've done a web write-up on youthinkyouKnowsports.com. So hope you'll find our content in other places as well. Rutgers last year averaged 25.8 points per game, 393.5 yards per game. They were number 53 in yards per game, number 70 in points per game. They ran the ball on 52% of their plays, and they only averaged 3.6 yards per carry. So they have got to get better at running the football. The quarterback probably will be Dylan Lonergan. He comes over from Boston College. Lonergan was a 66% passer, just below 67%, with 2,025 yards, 12 touchdowns, 5 picks last year. He spent his first 2 years at the University of Alabama. He was benched and in and out of the lineup a couple of times last year for Boston College. And Lonergan is competing with A.J. Surace, who was 4 of 9, 58 yards, 2 touchdowns last year. All his completions were against Norfolk State. So, look, I think most would say that it looks like the leader for that position is probably Lonergan, even though things did not work out last year for him at Boston College. I have seen Athlon has got Surace be the guy they have out front, but I think most preseason prognosticators believe that maybe Lonergan's experience will end up winning out. But I guess we'll see what happens between those two guys. KJ Duff is back at receiver. He had 60 catches, over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. He is 6'6", and he led the nation with 22 contested catches last year per Athlon. I want to give them credit for that stat. Not sure where they pulled it. And then Antoine Raymond is back at running back. He had over 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's one of 6 running backs in Rutgers history with over 1,200 rushing yards in a season. So you can see the pieces. There's also 2 offensive linemen back here. Asamoah and Needham are back on the O-line. So you can kind of see the pieces as you try to figure out how this Rutgers team is going to be competitive and win enough games to at least get to a bowl in the Big Ten. 4 guys are back on defense. Malachi Davis comes over from Toledo as a defensive end. Jadon Burnett comes over from Tulsa. Ty Morris comes in from Rice. They brought in Zamir Dodd come over from Villanova. Kevin Humes comes over from BC. Mikey Munn from South Dakota. Kosh Sanders is the leading returning tackler. He is a defensive back for this Rutgers team. He had 65 tackles last year. Adam Wright also had 58 tackles. He is back at linebacker. They allowed almost 34 points per game last year, number 121 in the country. 452 yards per game, number 129. They allowed almost 9 yards per pass, which is number 132 in the country. And look, they only had 11 sacks all year, right? So you can't stop teams. You give up 34 points per game, but you also cannot sack the opposing quarterback. When you played 12 games and only had 11 sacks, that will get you beat a lot in college football, especially in the Big Ten. If you remember right, they started 3-0 After that, their only wins were a 3-point win at Purdue, who has not won a Big Ten game in 2 years. And then they beat a Maryland team that started well, lost the lead to Washington. They were up like 20 to nothing at halftime against the Huskies and did not win again all year. So Rutgers is a team that reeled at the end of the year. This year they play UMass in their opener. Then they go to Boston College on September 11th. We'll see if Lonergan plays against his former team. The next three are all home games. They play USC, Howard, and Indiana all at home. All in a pretty short stretch there. You get the team that brings back more starters than anybody in the country, USC. You've got the defending national champions as well. Then they play back-to-back road games at Maryland and at Northwestern on October 17th and October 24th. They host Michigan on Halloween, go to Wisconsin on the 7th of November, host Nebraska a week later, then they play at Penn State November 21st, and host Michigan State on November the 28th. So this schedule is interesting. USC, Indiana, Michigan all come to Rutgers. Okay, all of them. So Rutgers has got a ton of chances to pull a potential Big Ten championship altering upset. They also get Nebraska and Michigan State, Howard, UMass in their place. So if you're trying to figure out a way to get to bowl eligibility, if you're Rutgers, you think you can compete with Maryland and Northwestern and Wisconsin. Those are road games. It's hard to know exactly what Penn State's going to be with Matt Campbell at head coach and all the guys that they've brought over from Iowa State. But you'd expect Penn State to be pretty good. You got to go there as well. So the schedule is as far as Big Ten schedules go, if you've got to play USC, Indiana, and Michigan, at least you get them in New Jersey, right? At least you get them at your place instead of having to go on the road. So I think Rutgers fans at least have to have that in mind when they look at the schedule. So kind of an overview. I mean, look, I think Greg Schiano knows how to win at Rutgers, but I think things have gotten much harder than his first time there. You win 6 or 7 games with this schedule. I think that would be a real win for this team. Lonergan and Surace is going to be an interesting battle at quarterback. KJ Duff being back is going to help either guy. Having Raymond back as well. I mean, there is a pretty good nucleus on this offense if they can find the right quarterback. I like all the transfers coming in on defense to go with 4 starters. We'll see how quickly they can gel as the season starts. Obviously, you got to beat UMass in week 1. And we'll see if they can figure things out before they get to USC in week 3. Obviously, not skipping over Boston College there in week 2. But, guys, I appreciate you listening. We continue to go through the Big Ten. Next, we're into the U's. We have UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, and Washington still left in the Big Ten. So cannot wait to talk about those teams as we continue to get through all these podcasts. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button. Hope you'll follow me on all the social media out there. And I hope to see you on the next one when we talk about the Bruins. Thanks, guys.